like to have a special welcome to all of those who are new to the Crimson Circle. I am Adamus, and I open up by saying of sovereign domain. That means I'm an ascended master. When you are in your sovereign house, it means you're beholden to nobody or nothing. You are your own one. You are free. You are free to be all that you are, your past, your present, your future, your soul, your humanness. You're free to do all. The work that Saint-Germain, that I do with Crimson Circle, is very specific. It's very much about going from awakening into realization and staying on the planet. This word that you hear, Shambra, it comes from an old term used thousands of years ago in the time of Christ, of Yeshua. They were absolutely dedicated to being here on the planet, to coming to their own realization, what some of you call enlightenment. They were dedicated to staying on the planet then, as embodied masters, to radiate their light, their consciousness onto the planet at this most critical and epic time. What was always known what would happen was this thing called the apocalypse, which means the unveiling, the moving the cover, the lid aside. It was difficult to try to say exactly when it was going to happen because it's really up to humanity. But suddenly, as we were watching and measuring and feeling into what was happening on the planet, we realized that the consciousness of the planet was changing very fast, changing drastically. We didn't know the exact date. And here Tobias flying through the door saying, it's actually happening. It was a revelation. It's going to happen now. And it was March 22nd. We were kind of stunned because this is something all of us have been waiting for, and suddenly it's here. Something all of you have been waiting for, and suddenly it's here. There is enough consciousness on the planet now, in humanity, to open up the realms, the apocalypse, to take aside the veil, to move that barrier aside and open up the accessibility of the divinity to the humans who are ready. So Linda's got the questions ready. Here we go.
Okay. You talk about letting go of those things not serving us. However, doing it with visualization or convincing myself that I'm letting go is no longer enough. It feels limited. What would be a more practical and updated approach to letting go?
To let go. What you don't want, is not yours anymore. What you're willing to let go, put it in on the altar of the soul. Put it in the bowl and let it go. And then it will be. Don't look back. You start acting like a master rather than a human trying to be a master. You master up. Even if it's an act, even if you think you're making it up, you start acting like a master and then you become one.
There seems to be a heaven's cross ripple effect with old issues coming back up, even though we put all of this in the soul's altar. How do we best deal with this?
It's not that you didn't release it. It's simply that it left a void and a little bit of in a strange way, of you missing some of those old things. You get so used to working. I know you're disagreeing, but you got used to working and with your issues and problems, and once you let them go, there's a little bit of empty space.
Since Heaven's Cross, I'm extremely quickly exhausted and physically hardly resilient. Is this something related to the light body?
For many of you, it's related to coming back now much more present after doing so much realm work. You're tired from that work. It's not physically tiring, but it's energetically tiring what you were doing, and particularly in the last couple of months, so busy with last minute work preparing for Heaven's Cross. So you come back here and it's actually you could say your angelic self that's very tired. For others of you who didn't do the realm working, it's just the whole changeover that's taking place. And you know how it is sometimes. You just When there's a big change, it can be very tiring. It's taking an effect on your body. Look at it this way. If there's anything that's happening, whether it's physical pain, doubt in the mind, anything else, these are all just indicators that something happened.
Since humans came from angelic beings and families, where in the process did the human lose their consciousness?
They didn't lose it. They came to Earth. The angelic beings, all of you, came to Earth, and it got very limited and compressed and condensed. It wasn't lost, but it was all in an effort to expand it, to bring it to new levels. By having this journey on the planet, gave you such incredible insights into the nature of reality, into consciousness, ultimately into the I exist. So it was never really lost, but it was put aside for a while. And now Heaven's Cross is opening that up, and you'll feel constant reminders about who you truly are. I want to talk for the moment about the Master. It's a term I use that Master is the culmination of all your lifetimes. The wisdom of those lifetimes. That's what I call the Master. It's rather humanized because the Master comes from the human experience, turned into wisdom. It's not like an oversoul, but it's like, you could say, the best of the best of all of your human lifetimes. I'd like to have you really take this moment now to listen. To listen to the Master and what the Master has to say about Heaven's Cross, the apocalypse in you. It's not some archangel or anything else, but it's the finest of you as the human. Listen now. Listen as the Master talks to you about Heaven's Cross. You're listening to yourself here. You're listening to you. You've been taught and trained and programmed to listen outside. Or listening inside was too chaotic and too limited, but now you're listening to yourself through the Master. You're listening to yourself. And you start to sense into that oneness. No more separation, no more the Master being off someplace else, but as you walk, you're walking as the Master now. And when you listen, you're just listening to yourself as the Master. As you sense, you're sensing as the Master. Not just as the human trying to hear something or feel something from the Master, but now actually sensing as the Master. For many of you, this would have been hard to do a year ago, 6 months ago, but here we are at the very subtle levels of what's occurring with the apocalypse. The ability to be in awareness like this, without all the noise and the commotion and the words and the definitions and the judgments, just a single sense of awareness. This is what emerges from Heaven's Cross.